Stop chasing women. Every time you do, you lose value in their eyes and in your own. What destroys your attractiveness is not your physique or your bank account. It's the energy of neediness you transmit when you try to convince her to choose you. Nothing repels more than the smell of desperation disguised as kindness. It's not your duty to prove to anyone that you deserve to be loved. It's your duty to live in a way that your presence speaks for you. The mistake many men make is to believe that being accommodating, excessively flattering, or always available is the key to winning a woman over. But that kindness is not authentic. It comes from the fear of rejection, and women perceive it immediately. No one is attracted to someone who gives up their own value just to please. Instead of respect, you generate pity or indifference. True attractiveness is not begged for, it is projected. It's not about being cruel or arrogant. It's about stopping begging and starting to act like a man who knows who he is. When you stop trying to convince, you regain your power. You become interesting not for what you say, but for how you live, for the firmness with which you defend your boundaries, for the passion you put into your goals, and the calm with which you handle rejection. This video is not about learning seductive phrases or psychological games. It's about awakening the man who has lost himself trying to impress others. Here you will learn that authentic indifference, demonstrated courage, and emotional investment are not tricks, but principles that transform your way of relating. Because respect and attraction are not begged for, they are inspired. Today you will stop seeking approval and start becoming someone who doesn't need to convince to be desired. 1. Live a life that speaks for you. There are lighthouses that don't shout to guide ships. They just stand firm, lit, and visible, even in the midst of the storm. That's how your life should be if you want to stop convincing someone that you're worth it. Many men fall into the trap of trying to explain their worth with words, trying to prove that they are good, attentive, or interesting. But true respect and attraction are not built with speeches, but with the way you live each day. A man who needs to say he is valuable is not yet. A man who shows it with his actions doesn't have to justify anything. The problem starts when you live with your gaze set on the outside. If your routine revolves around impressing others, your life ceases to be yours and becomes a spectacle for the approval of others. It's the fastest way to frustration, because there will always be someone who won't be convinced, who will criticize you or ignore you. And if your self-esteem depends on that response, you get caught in a game you're never going to win. That's why the first step is not to learn to speak better or to dress a certain way. It's to build a life that is worthy of admiration, even if no one is watching. Think about the man who wakes up early not out of obligation, but because his personal project excites him. The one who takes care of his health because he understands that his body is the tool with which he will face every challenge. The one who keeps his word even when no one is watching him. That silent consistency is what sooner or later becomes visible. People trust in those who see results, not in those who promise without fulfilling. And women perceive that kind of solidity, even if they don't say it, because consistent behavior projects security. Living a life that speaks for you means to stop investing your energy in convincing others and dedicate it to polishing your character. It means that your career, your habits, your friendships, your way of reacting to difficulties, everything is a testament to your discipline and purpose. You don't need to show off what you do when what you do already speaks for you. From the Stoic perspective, this is not just practical advice, it's a fundamental principle. The Stoics taught that virtue is the true good and that life should be built around it. If you act with justice, courage, temperance, and wisdom, every aspect of your day becomes a test of your character. Marcus Aurelius was not seeking recognition. He was seeking to live according to his duty, and that consistency is what made him admired even centuries later. When you focus your life on self-mastery, you attract genuine respect because you convey inner strength. If you want to stop convincing someone that you're worth it, start by not negotiating your principles. Keep your word. Maintain discipline in your body and mind. Work for something bigger than external approval. Women may be attracted to physical appearance, but what keeps their interest is the perception that your life has direction and that you don't depend on them to feel complete. Whoever builds his value on solid foundations does not despair for attention. Whoever lacks purpose always ends up begging for it. A life that speaks for you is not built overnight, but every day that you act with consistency, you add bricks to that structure. When you focus on improving in silence without announcing every step, you achieve a type of magnetism that cannot be faked. You don't need to convince anyone that you're different. They'll notice by the way you move, the way you speak, and the way you decide. 2. Stop seeking approval from others. Shadows change shape with every movement of the sun, and a man who depends on the approval of others' lives like that shadow. He never has a shape of his own, always deforming to the rhythm of others. When your identity is built around applause, any criticism destroys you, and any silence makes you doubt your worth. Seeking approval is, in essence, giving up yourself to fit into other people's molds, and there is nothing less attractive than someone who doesn't know who they are without the gaze of others. The mistake of many men is to believe that pleasing at all costs makes them more desirable. They fill their words with flattery, are always available, sacrifice their own interests for a bit of attention. They don't understand that this apparent kindness is not admired, but perceived as neediness. Neediness repels because it communicates lack, and lack never inspires respect. Nobody values what is offered at any price. From Stoicism, the search for approval from others is a form of slavery. Epictetus taught that only he who governs himself is free, and he who depends on the opinion of others to feel valuable lives chained. What others think, say, or feel is out of your control, and basing your self-esteem on that is handing over your power to something unstable. You cannot demand respect if you do not respect your own essence. Practicing emotional independence does not mean becoming insensitive or indifferent to everything. It means that your dignity is not at stake every time someone approves or ignores you. It is acting according to your principles, even if you do not receive applause, standing firm in your boundaries, even if you make others uncomfortable. That silent firmness generates a type of attractiveness that does not need demonstrations. To apply this principle in daily life, start by questioning every choice you make. Ask yourself if you do it because you believe it is right or because you fear the judgment of others. Learn to say no without feeling obliged to explain every decision. A man who knows how to say no conveys security and value, while one who constantly gives in shows weakness. Stop justifying your life to those who have not earned the right to question it. Another common mistake is interpreting disapproval as a personal attack. Not everyone will agree with you, and that doesn't mean you should change to please them. Maturity lies in accepting that other people's opinions are just that, opinions. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that reputation is something external, and a sensible man does not allow his peace to depend on something so volatile. Strength lies in staying the course without losing your center. In the realm of relationships, depending on the approval of others is a trap that forces you to mold yourself to please. Today you give in on your principles, tomorrow on your boundaries, and without realizing it, you end up acting in a role that does not belong to you. Respect and attraction do not come from pleasing. They come from the consistency you show by staying true to who you are, even if that means not pleasing everyone. True freedom arises when you stop living to impress and start living to grow. That emotional independence is noticeable in your posture, in your gaze, and in the tranquility with which you make decisions. People are naturally attracted to someone who does not need to be accepted to feel secure, because it conveys strength and authenticity. He who respects himself does not beg to be respected, he inspires it. 3. Make your passion your greatest magnet. Fire doesn't ask for permission to burn. It simply illuminates and attracts all those who feel its heat. Such is genuine passion in a man's life. It doesn't seek to impress. It doesn't need to explain or justify itself. It shows in the way he works, in how he talks about what he loves, in the energy he radiates when he's focused on what matters to him. When passion is real, it becomes a magnet that attracts looks, respect, and admiration, without you having to utter a single word. The most common mistake of those who seek to conquer someone is to invest all their energy in strategies to attract attention. They strive to appear interesting instead of being so. They waste hours looking for clever phrases or elaborate gestures, while neglecting the most powerful thing they could show: a life full of meaning. Passion for something, whether it's a project, a discipline, an art, or even a lifestyle, grants a magnetic force impossible to imitate. People are naturally intrigued by someone who has a clear direction and an internal engine that doesn't depend on applause. The absence of passion is as noticeable as its presence. A man who only talks about his problems, his boredom, or how unfair the world is, conveys emptiness, and that emptiness is unattractive. On the other hand, someone who is building something, who wakes up with purpose, who seeks to learn and improve, generates an energy that inspires confidence. Women are not just looking for company, they are looking to feel that they are next to someone in motion, someone who grows and invites them to grow. From the Stoic perspective, passion is not a passing whim or an uncontrolled impulse. It is a sense of purpose that orders life. Seneca said that life is short not because we have little time, but because we waste a lot. Whoever finds his purpose and cultivates it with discipline doesn't need to distract himself seeking validation. Focusing on what builds character, on what leaves a mark, gives a different glow to the gaze, a firm calm that doesn't need adornments. To turn your passion into a magnet, you must first discover what ignites that internal spark. It's not something you can copy from others or fake to impress. It could be your job, a creative project, a sport, a personal improvement goal. The important thing is that it challenges you and keeps you moving. When your time is occupied by something that demands you to surpass yourself, you stop having room for insecurities and you stop begging for attention, because you already have something more valuable to offer than a simple effort to please. Passion has a transformative effect on how others perceive you. It's not about boasting your achievements or using what you do as a trophy to seduce, but about naturally conveying the enthusiasm you feel. Talking about what you love with conviction, with eyes that shine, generates genuine curiosity. The stories that arise from your experiences, the challenges you face and overcome, all of that communicates that you have a rich and constantly growing inner world. That's the kind of interest that no superficial technique can buy. Practicing this in daily life involves dedicating real time to that passion. It's not enough to say that you like something, you have to live it. Invest hours in perfecting skills, in learning, in improving. Surround yourself with people who share that energy and inspire you to grow. The magnetism is not in the final result, it's in the visible process of your dedication. 4. Show courage with real actions. The echo is always weaker than the voice that provokes it, and so fragile are words when they are not backed by deeds. Many men try to convince others, especially women, of their worth using promises, motivational phrases, or exaggerated stories of what they will do someday. But true respect does not come from the noise of what you say, but from the consistency of what you do. A man who only talks ends up being an empty echo. A man who acts is the voice that imposes itself in silence. People do not trust words, they trust patterns. If your actions show discipline, self-control, and commitment, that behavior speaks louder than any argument you can give about yourself. A gesture of consistency weighs more than 1,000 statements. Keeping your word, fulfilling what you promise, and standing in the midst of difficulty is what generates trust and genuine admiration. Attraction does not arise from discourse, it arises from visible example. One of the most common mistakes is trying to impress with appearance rather than with substance. Some think that by showing possessions, bragging about contacts, or exaggerating achievements, they will gain respect, but all they achieve is to look insecure. Real value is not demonstrated with adornments. It is revealed when the pressure increases and you maintain your character. When you face the uncomfortable without fleeing. When you keep moving forward even though no one applauds you. That kind of firmness is magnetic because it is rare and hard to fake. The Stoics insisted that true greatness is measured by mastery over oneself, not by mastery over others. Epictetus reminded us that no one is free until they learn to control themselves, and that self-control is seen in small daily actions. It's not about showing grand heroism, but about acting consistently in what you decide to do. Work with excellence, even when you are not watched. Respond calmly when others lose their composure. Maintain your boundaries even under pressure. That repeated consistency is the foundation of a solid character. Practicing this principle in everyday life requires focusing on tangible actions. If you say you're going to get up early to train, do it. If you promise to finish a project, complete it even if it's hard. If you commit to treating with respect, even when provoked, fulfill it. These actions, although they may seem small, shape the perception others have of you, and more importantly, the perception you have of yourself. True confidence comes from knowing that you keep your own word. In the realm of relationships, demonstrating value with actions means not resorting to grand speeches to impress, but letting your achievements, your behavior, and your consistency speak for you. If you want to be seen as reliable, act like someone reliable. If you want respect, show respect first and maintain your standards. If you want to attract, focus on living in such a way that attraction is a natural consequence of your integrity and not a desperate goal. The respect you gain when your actions back up your character is not fragile or fleeting. It does not depend on fashion or the changing opinions of others, because it is anchored to something you control, your behavior. People can argue your words, but they cannot deny the facts. That solidity generates a security that is perceived without the need for explanations. Whoever acts with integrity does not need to ask for trust, they inspire it. True value is never shouted, it is demonstrated. Every day offers opportunities to prove that you are more than promises. 5. Practice indifference firmly. The sea does not stir because a single stone falls on its surface. It keeps its course deep and constant, while the waves only reflect what happens on the shore. This should be your attitude towards others' reactions, especially when it comes to someone whose interest you seek. Most men let themselves be disturbed by every gesture, every silence, or every word of a woman, as if all their worth depended on that response. This emotional dependence is what destroys your attractiveness and erodes your tranquility. Genuine indifference is not coldness or contempt, it is self-control. It means that your stability is not at the mercy of others' approval or rejection. Many people confuse indifference with total disinterest, but it is actually about knowing that your inner peace is not for sale. When you react excessively to an ignored message or a distant gesture, you give the other person control of your emotions. Self-control is demonstrated by remaining calm even when things do not go as you expected. The mistake of many men is to make a woman's attention the center of their world. They analyze every message, every silence, every change in tone of voice, as if their self-esteem depended on it. This attitude not only wears you out, but it projects neediness, and neediness is never attractive. A confident person remains constant regardless of the other's attitude, because they understand that their own worth is not negotiated or begged for. From the Stoic philosophy, firm indifference is a way to practice the dichotomy of control. You cannot control what another person feels, says, or does, but you can control how you choose to respond. Seneca reminded us that no one can harm you without your consent, and this includes the emotional harm caused by unmet expectations. Keeping calm in the face of others' indifference is an act of freedom that gives you power over yourself. Applying this principle in everyday life means to stop reacting impulsively. If someone does not respond to your message, do not insist or turn it into a drama. If you notice distance, do not rush to ask what you did wrong. Learn to give space without resentment or anxiety. This not only shows maturity, but it also arouses respect. When you do not get upset easily, you convey that you have a full life, that you do not depend on the attention of others to feel valuable. Practicing firm indifference also involves learning to say no. Many times you accept uncomfortable situations for fear of losing interest or approval, but every time you do, you give up a little of your dignity. Knowing how to set boundaries without apologizing for them shows inner strength. If someone walks away because you did not agree to something that compromised your principles, let them go. Losing someone who does not respect your boundaries is not a loss, it is a relief. The self-control that arises from this attitude changes the dynamics of any interaction. People notice that they cannot manipulate you with indifference or affection because your center does not move with external winds. That stability is attractive because it reflects confidence in yourself. Nobody wants to be with someone who crumbles at the slightest sign of disapproval. People admire those who remain firm and serene. Genuine indifference does not seek to punish or play hard to get. It seeks to protect your energy and maintain your peace. 6. Ask questions that spark interest. The explorer who discovers hidden treasures does not do so because of what he holds in his hands, but because of the questions that guide him to look where others dare not. Similarly, the man who learns to ask with intention becomes intriguing without forcing interest. Most limit themselves to superficial conversations, repeating what everyone else says and expecting predictable responses. This does not arouse curiosity or leave a mark. Attraction is not always in the answers. Often it is born from the quality of the questions. Many men believe that to capture a woman's attention, they must talk a lot, tell long stories, or demonstrate knowledge on any topic. What they do not understand is that by monopolizing the conversation, they end up exhausting the other person's interest. Well-asked questions change the focus. They show that you are present, that you pay attention, and that you care to discover what is behind the words, not just hear the obvious. Asking with intention is a silent form of leadership in interaction. The common mistake is to fall into the routine. How was your day? It's what are you doing? Do you like such a thing? These are lifeless questions, almost automatic, that say nothing about you or provoke anything in the other person. The questions that arouse interest go beyond the everyday. They seek to connect with experiences, emotions, aspirations. A man who knows how to ask demonstrates genuine curiosity and conveys depth, something that is not easily found and therefore is attractive. From the Stoic perspective, asking well is a sign of wisdom. Epictetus taught that one should listen more than one speaks, because only by listening does one learn. Asking is not a sign of weakness, it is a signal of intellectual and emotional strength. A man who dares to inquire with respect and insight projects security, because he is not afraid to discover what is behind the appearance. This attitude generates trust and opens spaces for conversations that truly build connection. To apply this principle in everyday life, you must first learn to observe. Careful observation will give you clues about what is worth asking. If you notice that someone talks with a sparkle in their eyes about a project, ask about the challenges they faced. If you perceive that they avoid a topic, ask them gently what made them change course. The best questions arise from paying attention to body language, gestures, silences. Showing genuine interest in what the other person values makes them feel seen and heard, and that creates a stronger bond than any compliment. It is also important not to use questions as an interrogation. It is not about bombarding with curiosity or pressuring, but about guiding the conversation to more meaningful places. Alternate deep questions with lighter ones add subtle humor, allow the dialogue to flow naturally, The goal is not to obtain information, but to generate an interaction that arouses emotions and keeps attention alive. A simple example: instead of asking, "Do you like your job?" you could ask, "What surprised you the most about your job this year?" Instead of saying, "Do you have any hobbies?" you could say, "What do you enjoy so much that you could spend hours doing it without getting tired?" These questions not only avoid short answers, but invite the other person to reflect and share something personal. This type of exchange creates memorable moments. 7. Create emotion with humor and challenge. Conversations are like dormant embers. They remain extinguished as long as no one dares to blow on them. Humor and challenge are that breath that ignites the spark and turns a common dialogue into something alive and memorable. However, many men avoid this type of interaction for fear of discomfort, of not seeming serious enough, or of rejection. What they don't understand is that without emotion, no conversation leaves a mark. Humor and challenge are not empty games. They are tools to arouse interest and break the monotony that kills attraction. The mistake of those who seek to please is to be too flat, too correct, as if they were walking on glass. They limit themselves to nodding, to saying what they think the other person wants to hear, and avoid any comment that could generate tension. This complacent attitude may seem safe, but it is boring. No one remembers the man who always agrees with everything because he provokes no emotion. On the contrary, whoever dares to use humor intelligently and challenge respectfully creates a different energy, hard to ignore. Humor is not about telling rehearsed jokes or trying to make people laugh at all costs. It is rather the ability to find lightness in the everyday, to respond with wit to a comment, or to laugh at yourself without losing dignity. A touch of genuine humor shows that you don't take yourself too seriously, that you are flexible and know how to enjoy the moment. This attitude relieves tensions, breaks barriers, and makes people want to be around you. Shared laughter creates bonds faster than any formal conversation. Challenge, on the other hand, adds a layer of intrigue. It's not about confronting or humiliating, but about inviting the other person to break the routine with subtle comments that awaken mischief. For example, if someone brags too much, you could respond with a smile. "Sounds good, but I'm not so sure you can beat me at that." This kind of playful challenge is not hostile. It's a stimulus that keeps the interaction dynamic. It shows that you are not willing to surrender your personality just to please. From the Stoic philosophy, humor and challenge are balanced with self-control. You must not allow the desire to impress to make you cross the boundaries of respect. Seneca valued wit and sharpness, but warned that words without temperance become weapons that hurt instead of unite. True mastery lies in knowing when to crack a joke and when to remain silent, in not losing composure even when the situation becomes uncomfortable. A man who achieves this balance conveys maturity along with charisma. To practice this principle in everyday life, start by reading the environment. Don't force humor in inappropriate moments or challenge when the situation requires support. Learn to notice when a witty comment can break the ice or when a subtle challenge can liven up the conversation. Also, avoid turning humor into constant sarcasm or challenge into criticism. The goal is to awaken positive emotion, not to create conflicts or ridicule anyone. A simple way to incorporate humor is to laugh at small mistakes of your own or common situations. For example, if you make a minor mistake, admitting it with a light smile shows confidence. Challenge can be expressed in friendly games, like proposing a trivial bet or joking about who has better taste in something. These light gestures, although they may seem simple, add an emotional nuance that makes the moment feel alive. 8. Make your attention a privilege. The sunlight does not follow anyone, but everything it illuminates comes to life. That's how your attention should be, a valuable resource that is not distributed without measure. The mistake many men make is to give it away easily, as if it had no weight or value. They spend the day glued to their phone, responding immediately to every message, commenting on every photo, and looking for any excuse to show interest. They believe that by always being available, they will show how much they care. But what they really convey is a lack of options and an excess of need. Nothing given without measure is appreciated. Attention is one of the most powerful currencies in human relationships because it reveals where you place your energy and your time. When you give it away without filters, you lose control over your value and let others decide how much you are worth. On the other hand, when you manage it with intention, you arouse curiosity and respect. Well-managed scarcity is not manipulation, it is self-control. You learn to give importance to what deserves it and not to waste yourself on what does not. This attitude is the basis of a silent magnetism. The problem with many men trying to conquer is that they turn their attention into a kind of constant tribute, as if they had to earn a place by demonstrating availability. They respond immediately, give way even when they are busy, sacrifice their own activities to stay present, and with each gesture, they lose a bit more of their appeal. Attention given without limits loses its power of impact because it no longer feels special. Nobody values what is too easy to obtain. From the Stoic perspective, controlling to whom and what you give your attention is a sign of discipline and clarity in priorities. Marcus Aurelius warned that time is the most precious resource, and that wasting it on distractions is to lose the only thing you really own. Attention not only defines your relationships, it also shapes who you are, because what you feed with it ends up influencing your character. When you decide to whom you give it, you decide what your life becomes. Practicing this principle in everyday life requires setting firm boundaries. It's not about ignoring out of pride or playing hard to get, but learning not to interrupt your routine or your goals for every notification. If you're working on something important, don't stop your focus to respond to messages immediately. If someone is only seeking your attention superficially, you have no obligation to give it. This stance shows that you value your time and that you're not constantly seeking external validation. Giving attention with measure also means knowing how to deliver it with quality when you decide to do so. When you're present, you're truly present. You listen with interest, ask relevant questions, maintain eye contact. There's nothing more attractive than feeling that someone is paying sincere and focused attention. But that attention should feel like something that is earned, not a resource available to anyone at any time. The difference between genuine interest and desperate interest lies in the intention with which you offer it. A common mistake is trying to compensate for a lack of emotional connection with an excess of attention. Some men think that if they are consistent, the other person will eventually appreciate it, when in reality, all they cause is fatigue. Overexposure kills mystery, and without mystery there is no emotion. By reducing the frequency with which you offer your attention and reserving it for valuable moments, you transform its effect into something more meaningful. Thank you for staying until the end of the video. If you watched the whole thing, comment "I am Stoic" as our secret signal to know that you're a true student of Stoicism. Don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video, and remember, keep cultivating your Stoic mind.